Welcome back to another explainer. Look, if you're seriously aiming for that top-tier CLB 9 or higher on your CELPIP exam, you already know basic vocabulary just isn't going to cut it. Today, we are running a focused masterclass designed to completely upgrade your descriptive vocabulary, and to do this, we're going to use a highly structured bilingual format that I like to call the rule of two. Basically, for every single term we cover today, I'm going to pronounce the English word twice so you can really lock in that pronunciation, and then I'll give you the exact Chinese meaning. After that, we'll break down exactly how you can use it to score maximum points on the test. So grab your notebooks because this is going to be fast-paced and it's absolutely focused on getting you those results.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our quick syllabus for today. First up, hair and facial features. Second, body types and builds. Third, appearance and skin traits. And finally, overall appearance evaluation.
Let's kick things off right away with Section 1, Hair and Facial Features. Mustache. Mustache. In Chinese, that is 八字胡,嘴唇上方的胡须. Now, this is an absolute must-know for speaking task 3 when you're describing male features in a picture. What's absolutely crucial here is the Canadian context. You see, every November, Canada hosts this massive charity event called Movember, where guys literally grow a mustache to raise awareness for men's health. You'll hear about this all over the news and in daily conversation. So for the exam, you want to lock in collocations like thick mustache or grow a mustache. If you're looking at your test image and you see a guy reading a newspaper with facial hair right above his lip, mustache is absolutely your go-to word.
Beard. Beard. In Chinese, this translates to 下巴和面颊上的胡须,络腮胡. Now, whatever you do, do not mix this up with mustache. A beard covers the chin and the cheeks. And because Canadian winters are, well, notoriously long and freezing, the percentage of men rocking a beard here is actually really high. It's a huge part of that classic Canadian lumberjack style. You know, picture a guy in a plaid shirt with a full beard. So for speaking task 3, if you're describing an outdoor winter scene and a guy is walking his dog, dropping the collocation full beard instantly proves to the examiner that you've got that cultural and lexical awareness.
Pimples. Pimples. In Chinese, 青春痘,粉刺. Now, I know this might seem kind of like a basic term, but it pops up all the time in contexts describing that awkward teenage phase, whether you're dealing with listening passages or basic speaking descriptions. Honestly, in Canada, if you walk into literally any pharmacy, you're going to see whole aisles dedicated entirely to acne and pimple treatments. Just remember the collocations bad pimples and squeeze a pimple for whenever you need to describe a younger person's appearance or tell a health-related anecdote.
Wrinkles. Wrinkles. The Chinese translation here is 皱纹皮肤上的,褶皱衣服上的. Now, what's really interesting about this term is its dual use. Like, yes, it's an advanced, high-scoring term for describing deep wrinkles on an elderly person's face in speaking task 3, but in daily Canadian life and in those test dialogues, it's constantly used to complain about clothes, like you have to iron out the wrinkles before a job interview. Mastering this double meaning is going to give you incredible flexibility across the different exam sections.
All right, moving right along to Section 2, Body Types and Builds. Remember, physical descriptions require extreme cultural tact in Canada if you want to score well.
Overweight. Overweight. In Chinese, 超重的,肥胖的. Okay, I need you to pay really close attention here, because describing someone's physical weight in English requires extreme care. In Canada, directly calling someone fat is considered extremely rude and inappropriate, especially in a formal setting like an exam. Overweight is your mandatory, polite, and completely objective alternative. Whether you use slightly overweight or describe someone who has become overweight after, say, stopping the gym, this is the exact term CELPIP evaluators are listening for when you describe heavier individuals in speaking task 3.
Underweight. Underweight. In Chinese, 体重不足的,偏瘦的. Notice the very clinical, almost scientific tone of this word compared to simply saying someone is thin or skinny. This term is heavily favored in CELPIP listening sections, particularly when you're dealing with medical, pediatric, or health diet contexts. For example, you might hear a passage about a premature baby who is extremely underweight. Using this shows a much higher level of language precision.
Chubby. Chubby. In Chinese, 胖乎乎的,圆润的. So the crucial point you have to remember here is that this word carries a very specific, very cute connotation. In Canada, you exclusively use chubby for babies, little kids, or cute pets. Think chubby cheeks or a chubby baby. You must never ever use this word to describe a grown adult on your exam. It can come off sounding super patronizing or just plain awkward. It is all about context.
Muscular.
muscular. In Chinese, 肌肉发达的,强壮的. As you probably know, Canada has a massive, highly visible fitness and outdoor culture. So, if you see a guy jogging in a tank top in your Speaking Task 3 picture, please do not just call him strong. Upgrading your vocabulary to say he has a muscular build or muscular legs instantly signals to the examiner that you possess a CLB 9+ vocabulary. It's a purely positive, very high-level descriptive term.
Stocky, stocky. In Chinese, 矮胖的,敦实的,结实的. Now, this is a phenomenally native-sounding word. It describes someone who is broad-shouldered and solidly built. Think of your typical Canadian hockey player or a construction worker. And here's the thing. It is not negative. Saying someone has a stocky build or a short and stocky provides this incredibly vivid, accurate image that basic vocabulary simply cannot capture.
Excellent work so far, guys. Let's propel this masterclass right into Section 3, Appearance and Skin Traits. These pop up all the time as visual cues.
Tanned. Tanned. In Chinese, 晒黑的,有古铜色皮肤的. To really understand this word, you have to understand Canadian winters. When it's freezing outside, Canadians absolutely love escaping to sunny destinations like Hawaii or Mexico. Because of that, returning with tan skin is seen as a massive compliment. It implies you're healthy, outdoorsy, and, well, you have the wealth to travel. You are frequently going to hear this in listening, daily conversations where colleagues are complimenting someone who just got tanned on their vacation.
Tattoos. Tattoos. In Chinese, 纹身. We really need to shatter an old stereotype right here. In Canada, tattoos are incredibly mainstream and highly accepted. I mean, even in corporate offices and behind bank counters. Because they're so common, CELPIP test illustrators frequently include characters who have tattoos in their Speaking Task 3 images. It gives you a very obvious, notable feature to describe. So definitely keep an eye out for them, and remember phrases like get a tattoo. Scruffy. Scruffy. In Chinese, 邋遢的,不整洁的,不修边幅的. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the difference between an average test taker and a CLB 9+ candidate. Instead of using basic everyday words like dirty or untidy, you use scruffy. It is the absolute perfect high-level adjective to describe an unshaven man, someone in scruffy clothes, or maybe a homeless individual sleeping on a bench in a test picture. Honestly, it's descriptive gold.
All right, we've made it to our final module, Section 4, Overall Appearance Evaluation. Stick with me, these are the most frequently used adjectives you'll need.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. In Chinese, 极其漂亮的,华丽的,极好的. This is basically your universal praise word. In Canadian spoken English, the frequency of this word is just off the charts. Yes, you use it to say a woman looks absolutely gorgeous for a date, but we literally use it for everything else too. We say gorgeous weather, a gorgeous view, a gorgeous house. When you need to express that something is exceptionally beautiful in your speaking tasks, this is the word you deploy. Handsome. Handsome in Chinese, 英俊的,好看的. While gorgeous can be pretty universal, handsome is traditionally and very specifically used to describe male beauty. Phrases like a handsome young man or the classic idiom tall, dark, and handsome are standard collocations you should definitely know. It's a really solid, reliable descriptive term for male subjects.
Plain. Plain. In Chinese, 相貌平平的,不起眼的,简单的,没有图案的. Let's see how this builds your final CLB 9 strategy. Okay, so plain looking is great for describing someone who doesn't really stand out, but the secret weapon here is actually using it for clothes. In Speaking Task 3, you'll constantly see people in complex outfits. Describing someone wearing a plain white t-shirt brilliantly contrasts them against someone wearing a striped or plaid pattern. It proves to the examiner that you can describe what is not there, which they absolutely love. And that brings us to the end of our vocabulary masterclass. Just look at what we've covered today. It's exactly these cultural nuances, knowing that overweight respects boundaries, that stocky is actually a compliment, and that tanned implies a tropical escape, that completely separates an average candidate from a top-tier CLB 9 earner. So as you head into your next exam, I want you to ask yourself, are you just translating words, or are you actually speaking the culture? Thanks so much for joining this explainer. Keep practicing that rule of 2, and I'll see you next time.